Wasn't that beautiful? It's great.
It was boring.
Screw you. It's only a minute long. It'll get better in time. We're doing other things. We're trying to, like I said, trying to improve the product always, constantly. But to those who are watching, welcome. My name is Sahid. That's Nicholas. How y'all doing
What up?
today?
What up?
Thank you guys for joining. I'm trying to just make sure that everything. We had a little bit of technical difficulties.
A little bit.
Um, again, again.
Everything hates us. That's pretty
Yeah,
much what
I
it
don't
is.
know. I don't even know if it's the restream thing or if it's like or just our computers. I don't think it's my computer. Um, better not be with all the money I
I
spent on it.
mean, I'm not even
So
using a computer. It can't be mine. I'm still
that's the
on
problem.
tablet. We're
Actually,
still we're
it's
still
hard to
budgeted.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell where the problem is, but I'll continue to do some more research, and we have to just do some more time to figure this out. But it's all good. We're here. We made it. So thank you guys so much for watching and joining. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitch. Even though like we don't really have a presence on Twitch, but we'll get a presence on Twitch. We're working on it. We'll get there. Cool. Outside of that, ready to get going? I want to
Of
start this off
course.
a little bit with just a little bit of a funny thing with
Your
what I
face.
was going through. Yeah, it shows my face is green, and I don't know why. It can't be my graphics card because it better be like a top of the line graphics card, and it shows green on like my thing, but not here. And quite frankly, I just don't care enough at the moment um, to fix this. Oh, I think it's fixed now. I think it's finally fixed now. Okay, so that's weird. I wanted to go through a little bit of kind of what I went through a little bit at work. I just thought it was a little funny. It's not a big deal. Um, and because I was telling you about this the other day. So yeah, at work I was like looking through like our Slack channels just to kind of make sure I'm keeping track of things. And I was looking at one of the Slack channels, and I thought I saw something I thought was funny. So one thing you're starting to see this a lot on LinkedIn and some other social media sites where people are putting their pronouns beside their
Yep.
names, right? And the goal behind this is to normalize the idea of accent for pronouns, right? I think that's what I thought, right? Um, I think some people kind of use it for some self righteous BS, whatnot, and some people kind of use it because they're sincere. But the idea, in general, regardless, is to normalize it. So I saw someone in the off, well, at work in Slack, and I saw that they had uh, she, her, they, them as pronouns, and I started thinking to myself, like, you can have like all the pronouns, can you? Right? Like, can you have all the pronouns? Like
Hey,
the only
it's
thing.
however you feeling at this point, man.
I mean, it's here's the thing. As much as I've learned more about kind of especially with the Dave Chappelle situation that we did an episode on months ago now, right? Definitely learn more about kind of that community and whatnot. But at the same time, there are kind of people who are again using it to kind of be self righteous, right? And it's a little annoying. um, like it reminds me what it reminded me of a little bit was remember when the George Floyd situation happened and we were talking about police rights and voter rights and all that stuff, and we got Juneteenth and um, like a pat on the back, right? Like
Right.
something like very performative stuff, and that's what this kind of feels like a little bit, right? Like what this person was doing. Like it seems like it just comes off as this very performative and um, kind of very self righteous like holier than thou, like look how good of a person I am, right? Um, I'm accepting. Look, I have all the pronouns, right? And it's like I don't think that's how that works, right? Um, but yeah, I just thought that was actually pretty kind of funny, where the person had to totally need to list like four different pronouns, and technically we're all they them, all of us are they them. That's me, you. It's the gender neutral, right? Pronoun. So like, why would you have that and then she her? I mean, maybe is there a difference? But I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, man. If that's not, I mean, for that right there is, I mean, it's however you're feeling, man. And,
Yeah,
you're not. It's not up for us to try to decipher like what that person
that's
it
true.
means by those decisions, right? I mean, that's
That's true.
how they see themselves. Well,
Yeah,
I'm not going to get it, right? But they
yeah,
will. Someone who's
yeah.
in their shoes
Yeah, you
will.
brought up a good point. You brought up a
So
good point. That's maybe not there. Maybe there's things that we're just not gonna understand, right? And that's fine.
yeah, just
Um,
like Ezra Miller. Yeah, Ezra Miller. I think is a. I think they. That's one of his. That's how he. They
really,
go.
wait,
They
does he have pronouns?
when I've read articles about him, it's usually they them.
Huh.
That how the author refers to them. So I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
again, I make the mistake of using he and all that, on Ezra Miller, but I mean that's so again, it's
Yeah.
not I'm not in their shoes. However, that's how that's like me, and when I'm at work and people are like, Nick, now I'm calling Nick, right? They're gonna think
I'm
that's
Nicholas.
ridiculous, but for me, it's hey,
That's how
you
I
know
want to be
me,
defined. Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's for
No.
the family. That's for
Yeah.
close friends. That's not for
Yeah.
you.
I can respect that. That's a great analogy. Yeah, I'm looking at his Wikipedia, and they do refer to him as well, refer to Ezra as there.
Them, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. But okay, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. But today's a special episode. Kind of all our episodes are special. This was an extra special episode because our DC junkie here who
We're
just
at
can't get
it. I get to
just
pop off a
can't
little
get enough
bit.
DC.
I get to
He
pop
can't
off a
get
little
enough
bit, man.
DC,
I
no matter
can't.
how bad they abuse and misuse him and his loyalty. He just keeps going back. He keeps going
Definitely
back.
in an abusive relationship right now for
Oh
sure, and I'm
yeah,
on the
it's
losing end
definitely
a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Unless I'm
No,
reading the comics. Unless I'm reading the comics.
yeah.
But TV
I'm only
movies,
winning.
getting my
Yeah,
ass beat.
I I'm only winning with DC when I watch Justice League and the Batman animated series
When
on
you're
HBO
watching
Max.
something from like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or actually 30 years ago now with the Batman series, right? That came
Don't
out in
remind me.
92.
What?
That was 92, man. Batman animated
Batman?
series?
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're the old man.
That reminds me of I think it was a GIF or a TikTok video or something like that, but it was like somebody was
Yeah.
saying, how millennials feel right now. And they say something and somebody's like, yo, that's 30 years ago. And then
Yeah.
millennials like, no, it's not.
Yeah. 30 years ago. You mean 1970? It's like, no, you mean
No,
1990. Like,
1990.
no, you mean 1970, right? No, 1990. What?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
No. Yeah, that came out from 1990, September 5th, 1992 to 1995.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. And
so
what's funny is that those guys that was involved in that project, they're still there, creating the animated series. But
they need
we'll
to
talk
be.
about, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They'll probably need to be involved in like the cinematic. They help these guys out, but because they don't know, there's so much crap going on. And to be honest with you, I haven't had enough time to read all of it. That's that's the sad thing, right? I haven't had enough time to read all of it. Um,
I've been
But
reading
let's
up on it, but that's what we're here for tonight, man. We're
yeah
gonna get into this, into what's going on, because we had the Comic Con not too long ago. We did a Marvel sided version of things,
yeah.
and I beg Saheed, let's go over to DC. We gotta talk about our DC
You did not beg to heat
family
anything.
over here. So, like, come on,
That is
man.
a lie.
No, I
He
don't
did not
want
beg
to.
anything. And that didn't happen either. Um, yeah, no, I mean, like I'm DC at heart. I grew up with DC. I grew up with Batman and Spider Man, but like that DC,
My two favorites.
yeah, the Justice League, like that series, that would really got me into DC, right?
Yes,
Super Friends, and then the Justice League Unlimited series was what really is like, yeah, I'm Team DC, because they had just great storylines and great characters, and it's just sad to see like how Warner Brothers, they all own this intellectual property, and you know they
that's the
can't get it
sad. I
right.
think that's the worst part, man. You have had ownership of your own intellectual property like this entire time.
Yep.
You could have been started up your own universe like forever ago, and
Yeah.
it took you watching Marvel get fight to get their IPs back, start up
Oh yeah.
a universe, then you decide to rush your thing together, and obviously we've seen what has happened or whatever, right? And then
Yeah.
I mean, but not only has it been a rush job, but it's like they just have horrible luck choosing actors and directors, man.
Yeah. Well,
Horrible luck.
there's a lot going on, and there's some things that is their fault, and there's some things that's not their fault. Like
Yeah,
Ezra Miller and Amber Heard
you can't predict that.
sucking, yeah, sucking as people essentially. You can't like control that, but how you treat people is also something that you can control. And I'm talking about this with Ray Fisher, right?
And Ben Affleck,
Uh,
because he said
and
he had
Ben
a horrible
Affleck.
experience.
Oh yeah, Ben Affleck said. Patty Jenkins said that she wasn't a fan of what they were doing, and how they were doing things and whatnot. And it's amazing how so many creatives. David Ayer with Suicide Squad, when he came out with that abominable movie, he like they had a production company, like a visual effects company, reshoot his movie, right? And David Ayer isn't like, he's not a bad director. I mean, he's had some good movies, had some bad movies, but he's
Everybody
by no
has.
means a bad director, right?
Yep.
Um, and like they kind of, you can tell how they kind of screwed him with a bunch of reshoots, right? And like the product totally different from his original vision, right? He did the same thing with Batman v Superman, right? The same thing, right? Where he couldn't um well, I mean, not Batman v Superman, Batman, Justice League Dawn of Justice, or what was it called? Justice League, whatever
Just
the
call
movie
it
that
was
we argued
Justice
about.
League.
It was
Then
Justice
there was
League.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, I guess it was Justice League. I thought there was like a thing after it, but I guess not. But like they kind of ruined. Well, I mean, that movie I'm sure was bad regardless, but
It
they
wasn't.
made it worse with
But yeah,
with the reshoots, right? And
yeah.
now they even got a step further now. So as you guys may know, Warner Brothers got taken over by Discovery. Well, they kind of had a merger of like intellectual property now, and Discovery's kind of stepping in, and they are essentially changing kind of the vision that was originally came on, and a big change, the big news that came out this week was that the Batgirl movie, that they spent $90 million creating, and that they were going to release on HBO Max, right? Um,
Yes.
got canceled, right? Done, zilp, nada, right? Um, and it's just sad and unfortunate. What's interesting is that the directors that did this background film
They
also
did
did
Miss
this.
Marvel.
They did Miss Marvel, right? So they're a team of their brothers, right? Who did this Miss Marvel as well. This movie also had Michael Keaton in it as well. Michael Keaton's is a pretty. a big actor, right? So
It's a
you're
big
spending
deal. Yeah.
$90 million. It's kind of a big deal. So you're spending $90 million and on him being there, and you're not going to have him there. That's one thing. Also, someone else, J.K. Simmons, right?
Yeah. He was supposed to
He,
be
yeah,
Commissioner Gordon.
yeah, he was supposed to be Commissioner Gordon, which would have linked it a little bit to the Snyder Bat universe and whatnot. But I mean, again, they canceled it, and I think the reasoning that they gave
And they
was
had
that
Supergirl in there too.
I'm not seeing Supergirl here in this one, but
She was in
sure,
there.
yeah. I would have liked to have seen Brendan Fraser come back as Firefly because
I
he's
was
been out
looking
the game
forward to
for a
that.
while. He's been out
Yes.
the game for a while, and he had just again another bad time as in Hollywood, right? Apparently he was sexually assaulted and just so many just negative things happened to him. So looking for his comeback and that's just gone. And it doesn't change the fact that they just canned a movie that had a person of color, right? A black woman be leading, right? So it's very telling. I have more to say about this, but I definitely want to bring you in here and kind of get your thoughts. I mean, I have like
Yeah.
a laundry list of shit to say,
Yeah. I
but
mean, I had a lot of things to say about the Batgirl movie before. I mean, I was really looking forward to that.
hmm
For sure. I didn't really care. I mean, some people might make a big deal about the fact that, they kind of made the main character, a person of color or whatever. Again, I'm on the side of, I don't need that to happen, right? I just need don't check a box for me. You know what I mean? Like give me if you're gonna give me a if you're trying to diversify, give me some original characters that mean something in the movie who
yeah,
are of different backgrounds or whatever. But that's neither
yeah,
here nor there, right? I
yeah.
think
I
from what
think
I read
Batgirl's a
about the
small
movie,
enough character. Unfortunately, I think Batgirl's a small enough character where like they're not gonna care if it's a person of color. Like they won't have a black Bruce Wayne, right? Not in cinema,
yeah,
right?
I mean,
They
but
piss
she's
off too
up
many
there though. I
people.
mean, I'm not
She
gonna
is up
diminish her
there.
at all, right? She's very important to the Batman
She's up
mythos.
there. She's
Um,
top 100 greatest superheroes of all time, right?
yeah.
Um,
So when I read the stories about them shelving the movie, man, I couldn't believe it at all. Especially after
yeah,
you sink 90 million into the movie. I seen some of the on-set photos of like the new
yeah,
bat suit for Michael Keaton. I saw
yeah,
her costume. They went with the purple. Um, and like yeah, like I said, I was happy to see Brendan Fraser back in there. It was looking good. I was really curious about it, and then they just
yeah,
suddenly scrap it. But I think the thing is, this is what happens when you have someone new come in, right? Because the merger, basically, you're bringing in that new CEO. I think his name is like David Zaslav or something like that.
yeah.
He's all about the money. That's what I've
Well,
been
yeah,
reading,
a
right?
lot of those guys are. A lot of those guys are.
So
But yeah,
he's like, hey, we sunk 90 million in, but it's not. He's more about theatrical releases, is what I've been reading,
hmm
right? And
yeah,
so if you spend all that money and we're not taking it to the theaters, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, and then but then I also read some things like, they did some initial test screenings. Evidently, it didn't do that great. But then on the other side of the coin, supposedly, the test screenings for Black Adam got like around the same score as those for
yes,
this Batgirl movie, and you're still
yes.
coming out with Black Adam. So, and it's not like test screenings are the end all be all either, right? Because there's definitely been some movies that have gotten lower test screening scores and go on to do big things,
hmm
money wise, and along with the critics too, right?
Yeah,
So it just all seems very questionable to me. But this is something that it's almost expected when you have new leadership coming in, because I mean they want to make their stamp on things. They're trying to change things and get rid of things and
yeah,
and change the way that things are going. So
yeah. It may be new leadership too, maybe, but they have Warner Brothers has a history of doing some fuck shit like this, right? With some
yeah,
of the reshoots that they've done, and just again, we've listed earlier, right? there's a
Ray Fisher.
long list of people who did not enjoy their time working with Warner Brothers, right? Um, and I'm sure like this didn't help, right? They did say that they still have plans to work with the directors and with Leslie Grace, who is going to play Batgirl. I don't imagine them wanting to, because it's making. I'm sure making a movie is hard, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
freaking
yeah,
takes
yeah.
so many years of planning and 2 years of filming, or just like a year or 2 years of filming and planning, and with the coronavirus epidemic that happened, probably was much worse than it had to have been, and they just kind of like, nope, we don't think it's good enough to release. Like, what does that do, right? um
Yeah,
and like to like that's some burning some bridges right there, right? Like, why would I want to work with a studio that does that, right? And again, Patty Jenkins, she also mentioned that she didn't agree with the way Warner Brothers kind of just released everything on their platform,
yep,
um, simply because, and she makes a good point too, that she makes movies for the big screen. They
yep,
went back and forth in this one too, whether it's going to be for big screen or not. I think there's a little bit of a diss when it says like this for we expect like big theatrical releases, and this is just not it. Um,
yeah. I think it's gonna go the way of the Snyder Cut, man. I think they're gonna end up releasing it if there's enough
Probably,
public outcry. But
yeah,
so I mean, but what's happening with the merger isn't just there isn't just some fallout on the superhero side of things. Like they're also supposedly they're also cutting ties with Clint Eastwood. Clint
yeah,
Eastwood's
I
been
read that
working with
too.
Warner Brothers for like
40 years.
50 years.
Yeah,
And he basically got the call like you're not I guess I think he pitched a new movie and they
yeah,
weren't feeling it and they didn't really give him like the respect that he was expecting to get being
yeah.
who he is, and now it's like
Mhm.
he might not be working with them either. So it's a lot going on over there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot going on. They need to get their shit together. Um, like, I wonder too if they, because Marvel has also changed the way we see movies, right? We talked about this a
Yeah,
little bit with the review when we reviewed Batman, right? Now, I like the movie Batman. Of course, you liked Batman. Um,
don't do that,
but
don't do that, don't do that,
it's true.
don't do
Look
that,
what you got on. Look what you got on.
don't do that.
Look what you got
Always the
on.
people know, man. If we're talking DC, we're talking Batman. I have on my Batman shirt and hat, but
Because you always like Batman.
don't do that. Don't do that.
What's the only? Did you probably even like Batman Forever too? I can't mess with you this one. But
It didn't.
anyway,
Let's just say when it came out, I was cool with it. Let's just say it hadn't aged well. I'll put it like that. It has not aged well at all. But when it came out, I'm a little kid. Of course, I liked it. Yeah, I wasn't really a movie critic back then. The only
okay,
Batman
that's
movie
fair.
I hated when it actually came out was Batman and Robin. It was this dog shit. It was horrible, right?
Yeah. Was that the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger as
Don't act like you
Mr.
don't know
Freeze?
which one it is. Don't act like you
Well,
don't know which one it is. You know
I
exactly which
admit
one it is.
I confused
Yes.
myself with Batman Forever and that one. So, um,
Batman Forever was watchable, at least when it came out. Batman and
yeah,
Robin,
it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. Oh my
you're
god.
supposed to be your Mr. Freeze is supposed to be freezing people, and the ice is doing this. Like after you freeze, like the even the effects were horrible, man. It was terrible, man.
It was bad. It was bad. But yeah, getting back to this, so it seems like they just weren't confident in it, and it looks like the execs they did the same thing what they did with Zack Snyder and David Ayer. They saw the test, they saw the movie, didn't like it, and they didn't even bother reshooting this time. Um, and I was talking about how Marvel's kind of changed the way we see movies. Like everything's like a big theatrical release now, right? One of the things that frustrates me that Sony and Warner Brothers get is that it took them a long time to get to that point, right? Like they had the Hulk first, right? Iron Man was kind of a big theatrical release, um, but it wasn't like what movies are today, right? I'm looking at the Iron Man numbers right now, It was cost 140 to make, half a million, 580 million, right? Now Marvel movies are crushing it now, but it took them some time to get there, and I don't know if these guys are willing to wait. Maybe they feel like they need to catch up, and let's face it, they're
Eh,
not.
I'm reading
Um,
that they have a 10-year plan now for the
we'll see.
DCEU, supposedly. I'm not sure where that leaves Robert Pattinson's Batman,
Yes, I was going to agree
or
with
some of the
that.
existing properties. But evidently, like, yeah,
Yeah,
they have a 10-year
it's
plan. When do you even restart, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
the Flash was supposed to be your chance to press reset. Your actors messed all that up, right? So I mean,
yeah.
when do you even restart everything?
There,
You're still
there,
coming out
yeah,
with you're still coming out with a new Aquaman,
yeah.
in which um there Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be in that movie.
He's coming out. He's gonna have more of a row. I'm thinking it's because they got rid of Amber Heard. They need someone else to kind of take some space there, and I
Okay,
think that's what that
maybe,
is.
maybe.
Yeah.
I still, I know I shouldn't be. This is less likely to happen than the Luke Skywalker series that we all need and deserve.
Which
But
will never happen, but
after,
okay.
listen,
We get a
after,
chicken
because
cartoon
I'm a
mood.
huge fan of the
Of
Affleck
course you are.
Batman, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Look, it was a good one, and but I was hearing that like the movie that he was trying to make, it was like a James Bond. It has some like James Bond elements. Some of the elements that I like about Batman personally, they were finally going to put in the
Yeah,
movie. Action heavy, you know what I mean? Like somebody that could actually throw down,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe they're trying to woo him with some dollars. I mean, if I'm Ben Affleck, they give me the right amount of money. Why not? You know what I
No,
mean?
of course not. Of course. Of course.
Re-engineer my suit.
Yeah.
Let me use the
No.
bathroom, right?
No, I mean, I will say this a little bit off topic, but to your point, right, with about money, like Daniel Craig, after he did Spectre, was like, "There's no way I'm doing another James Bond movie. I'd rather slit my wrist," right? And then Sony was like, "Well, let me bring out my wallet and see if we can change your mind." And it was like, "Oh, okay. So you pay me that? Okay, sure."
Now, hey, that would be like you going back to your old job where we used to work out, right?
hmm
What
Oh,
if they did? What
don't
if they
even.
did that?
They'll have to pay me a fuck ton. Don't do- I'm sorry. Like you have to pay
What if they
me
come
to
with
deal
their
with
hands
that
out?
shit. Better be deep. Better
We'll
be.
double up, double up.
I don't know if that might be even enough
You a
anymore.
lie.
Like,
You a lie. You a lie.
no. Like, I'm sorry. Like that was some
We're not
shit
gonna
right
go
there.
there. We ain't going
Yeah,
there.
we're not gonna go there. But this begs the question because I even though it wasn't for everyone, right? And the movie was too long. Um, outside of that, I actually liked the Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman. I would like to see it again, right? I would like to see kind of what their thoughts with Joker and how they're gonna put that in, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. He has some
and
decent thoughts on it.
yeah, the concept earlier was that they were really just making these multiversal like movies, like that's gonna be in his own multiverse, Joker's in his own multiverse, then the Snyder-ish verse is this own thing, right? Black Adam, which we'll talk about a little bit later, maybe in his own multiverse as well. Um, but like with this change now, it makes me wonder what's gonna happen with Batgirl's already gone. Blue Beetle, apparently they already finished filming, so almost in the
Oh my
same
god.
as
Another one I
Batgirl,
was looking
right?
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what's gonna happen now, right? Are they gonna axe it or not, right? This looks like they really want to focus on the big guys, and Marvel did this too, right? They focus on the Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the big ones, right?
I mean,
And
but they
then
made those guys the big ones. Those characters when you
Yeah,
talk to like
those
the
guys.
average comic book fan, like those aren't even Marvel's big guns. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
at the time it wasn't. They are now, right?
Yeah, because of the movies.
Because of the movies. Like I remember this. I remember when they mentioned like Wolverine as like the number four superhero of all time in like the list, and I'm like, what the what?
Yeah,
Four? Four? And that's because of Hugh Jackman and the X Men movies, right? That
yeah,
was essentially the
yeah.
reason why they did it.
Wolverine has always been up there. Yeah, I don't know if number four, but I think
Four?
that's so. I think that's
He's
one
not
of
in
the
my top
things.
five. I don't have him in my top 10. We can have that discussion another day, but he's up
But
there. I'll give him
that's
that.
one of the differences between DC and Marvel, though. Marvel has a little more flexibility with who they promote, character wise, right? Because DC, there's a set hierarchy, right?
Yeah,
You got the Trinity, you got the original members of the Justice League,
yeah,
then you have everybody else. I mean, let's just
yeah.
be real.
They're all
Marvel's a little more
derivatives of that.
flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel's a little more flexible. I mean, every Spider-Man is huge, Wolverine huge, right? But at the time they didn't own them, who do they go to? And they were able to pick and choose a little bit, from these other characters and make them big. Iron Man was a mid-tier guy. Hey, I'm gonna pick him to choose to make up the Avengers, which low
Yeah.
key he was a big member of the Avengers in the comic books anyway.
Yeah.
But now you kind of elevated his status,
Yeah. No, I think
right?
a lot of those guys got elevated. I think especially Thor. He may be the one that been elevated the most.
Big
I don't think he
time.
was. Yeah, I don't think he was that dude until Chris Hemsworth came up with the shirt off, and people were like, "Oh, Thor!" Right? So,
I
um,
wasn't, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't checking for Thor. I was aware of the Gore the God Butcher storyline for a
yeah,
while. I wasn't checking for Thor until that storyline because it was like, I mean, that was epic. It was huge.
yeah,
It was huge.
yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is not this is a DC episode. Marvel, they tend to kill off a lot of their characters too, like they're bad guys, which is another problem. But
Yeah.
that's we can talk about that later. Um, but yeah, but like here's a situation like they're a mess. Like Warner Brothers, they are a mess. And I've worked with shit organizations with leadership not knowing what the f they're doing before. Um, they are a mess, and
The
um,
so
I don't
I
know
mean,
how they're gonna fix it.
definitely agree. The other issue that they had, I think Walter Hamada is the name.
Yeah, yep.
He was about to quit. I think
He was about to leave. They kept him on
he's staying on until I think one of the
October.
other
October.
yeah, October. Some
Yeah,
movie gets released or whatever, he's staying on, but he's like in limbo.
Black Adam.
So there's gonna be a whole like reshuffling, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
I
We'll
want to see
see.
more. I want to see more from DC. Like they only release
Yeah,
like one maybe two movies a year. Dude,
yeah,
like, get these joints out, man. You spend so much time like reshooting
yeah.
and
I
double
also
checking
want.
and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
I also want them to have a different feel than Marvel, right? Don't make another Marvel movie. They have their template, they have their brand, right? It's successful, right? But I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more grounded, like movies like that we saw in the Batman, right? Now, this may not get the theatrical like attention as like the glitzy Spider-Man movie that came out, or Doctor Strange or Thor or any of those movies. But I mean, I still kind of liked it as a movie. And it's sad that we're not going to get that style anymore, right? Just because of how much has changed and how people aren't really trying to do anything new or create anything new. We just want to we got to just catch Marvel. We got to there's a space there, and we need to kind of take it. I think what's
Well,
missing
they're trying to
too.
get the casual they're trying to get the casual comic book fan,
Yeah,
right?
but the thing I think the thing that's missing too is that if they keep kind of just mixing up and making bad movies, like the superhero genre is going to go the way of the YA novel, right?
Of
Like
the
there
Western. They're gonna
was,
go the way of the Western. It was gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Well, the YA novels, I would say, right? So YA novels that were young adult novels, that was a huge thing, right? Harry Potter, um, Hunger Games was a thing.
Yep.
It started getting but the movie started getting worse. Like Harry Potter was a decent set of movies, right? Um, it got really bad with Twilight. Like those were just
Oh,
terrible, terrible movies. I'm grateful that I've never watched any of them, but terrible, terrible movies. Um, Hunger Games came out for her two first good movies. Then
you had the
that,
Maze. I remember that
yeah,
joint.
yeah. The Maze Runner wasn't one
There
of
you go.
them.
There you go.
They had Divergent. That was an interesting movie. That's just a
That was
bad
not
movie.
an interesting movie. That was shit.
That was just a bad
Horrible
movie. It
movie.
was terrible.
Horrible movie.
Yikes! Yikes! Why?
And each one got worse. They kept making them joints too.
Oh no 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 no! Yeah. Oh, and they tried to pull a what Harry Potter did, because the final movie they split it to a part one and part two, and now like that gave all these theaters like, oh, we can make more money off these guys. Just split into a part one, part two. So
Just
I
stop.
remember, yeah, I remember that movie. Well, it worked with Hunger Games, right? Well, they split the last part to a part one, part two, and they didn't need to like at all. Like the movies, none of them were that good. Um, Also with the Divergent, right, where they did the first movie, which was bad. They did the second movie, and it was worse. Um, and they did a third movie as a part one. And I'm like, nah. And then they tried to revive it as like a TV series, and people were like,
That's when
no,
you knew it was dead.
yeah,
I will give Hunger Games. I enjoyed the first Hunger Games movie a
yeah,
lot,
I liked it.
actually.
I like the first two.
Um,
First two were good, I
but
think.
yeah, man. I mean, there's some work to do, man. I'm really, and again,
Yeah,
and this is what bothers me too. They're going to use Batman as a crutch, right? Because
true.
that's their main one. That's their big gun. So they're always going to try to use Batman. And then people are going to be like, "Oh, I'm tired of Batman." I will never be tired of Batman, right? But
That's true. But you're not everybody.
they're going to use that as a crutch. So that's what I don't want is them to rush out another Batman.
Yeah.
What I'd like to see now is you can you can if they're going to do another if they're going to do this 10-year plan, what I would do, because they're gonna ape Marvel anyway.
Yeah.
But what you can do to kind of differentiate yourself is, instead of having because with the Avengers you had Nick Fury, who was responsible for bringing them together. He's kind of like the de facto leader. Da da da. The
Yeah.
Justice League formed out of necessity, right?
Yeah.
And you can try to have something like that where it forms out of. There's two ways you can do it.
Yeah.
You can either have a movie where you have it form out of necessity, and the movie introduces all the characters and kind of make it like it's almost like a character study. Everybody has their own issues or whatever, but they realize why they have to come together and they do it, and then they continue working together. Or you can
Hmm.
go the George Miller route, because he was working on the Justice League movie some years back, which sounded
Really?
amazing. Oh yeah, he was working on one a while back. I've seen like the character designs and
He's a
everything.
great director too. Man, they messed that one up. Oh
Dude,
man, freaking these
Army
guys.
Hammer was going to be Batman. I forget like who some of the other folks were, right?
Who?
But
Army Hammer? I don't know
uh
who that is.
look him up. Um,
Oh, his
but
name is A.R. Army
yeah,
Hammer. Oh, I
yeah.
see it. Okay.
But his thing was, or that movie, the Justice League was already going to be a thing, and you come in, they work together, but the villain that they had, Maxwell Lord, they were using the storyline where basically he had some mind control technology or whatever, took over Superman's mind. There's like a scene where him and Wonder Woman have like a fight, which happened in the comics too, which was an amazing issue. And then you had the other characters kind of playing on the outside or whatever. That sounded like a dope story, but basically you had the Justice League already there, and then the characters are kind of introduced. They're you see them as doing what they are solo, and then they have a reason to come together, come back together, or come back to work together again as Justice League or whatever. So
Hmm.
one of those two ways they should do it. I just wouldn't start it with Batman this time, right?
Yeah, I hope not, but you never know with these
I
idiots.
would I would probably I would start it with Superman. What I would do. actually, because I think Henry
Really?
Cavill needs to come back as Superman. Because in the comics,
Well, they
Superman,
tried. They tried.
huh?
They tried. Right? They tried
He wants more
twice.
money, supposedly. He
Well,
wants more
no,
money.
he's coming back as Superman, but no, they screwed him. They screwed him, right? Because
Yeah, they
then,
did.
because after the Ray Fisher thing, oh, we're doing Black Superman. We're not racist. We're doing Black Superman, and it's like,
I'm glad Michael B. Jordan
yeah,
made it known that he was looking to do the Val Zod version of the character, right?
oh yeah,
But to me, you start off with the Superman or focus on Superman because in the comics, like he is the person who inspired like a lot of these other heroes, right?
right,
So you do Superman, you have the other characters get inspired. You have the Batman who's the cynical one. It's like I'm investigating all of you to figure out what makes you all tick, and then
yeah,
I'll come in. You know what I mean? That's how I would
yeah,
introduce Batman. He's a
yeah,
cynical guy. Who
yeah.
are you? Hey, I can light a match. I can mess with you. I have a shard of kryptonite. I can get you. Now I'll be a part of the team.
Do you, do you now get why the whole Martha thing didn't make any sense now?
They should have consulted the fans, bro, because you should have used Bat. They have Batman cynicism,
Yeah,
and they took him as like the older character who's been through some things
yeah.
or whatever.
The cynicism made sense in the movie. It made
Yeah,
sense. It may have gone a little bit too far with like the branding and just straight up murking people, but still,
yeah.
I mean, it would have worked until like that was like, I mean, the movie was just. We're not gonna get into this because we'll get into an argument,
Oh, dang,
um,
good movie.
but whatever.
But
Uh, but like it's yeah, it's they have a lot of shit that they gotta like just get through. Um
so
and
let's talk about what they are doing then, right? Because
yeah,
obviously we
let's
got to
go ahead
get
and
to
talk
the
about that.
SDCC. Did we show? I don't think did. We show the Black Adam preview on the last when we were doing the SDCC one.
No, no, we didn't. We showed Shazam. We're about to show. I have Black Adam queued up.
All right, yeah. Let's cue that
So
up. Let's cue that up.
yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that going in a second. I think we've hit everything we wanted to hit with the mess that's kind of DC. I think just in general, just final thoughts. My hope is that they somehow figure it out because this is kind of like my childhood a little bit too, right? Like I do want to see these characters like do well,
That's why it
and
matters to so many people, man.
yeah,
You know,
like I don't want to be as like nitpicky as those Star Wars fans who just suck at everything.
we're all
uh,
nitpicky, bro. But
Not like
the
Star Wars
Star Wars
fans.
fans feel the
Not like Star
same
Wars
way,
fans.
man. I'm telling you,
Star
man.
Wars fans are on another fucking level. Like it just makes no sense.
You
Like
say that, but then look at when the shows have come out and people are talking about it, it's like, yo, you're introducing like a shit ton of plot holes that you're never gonna freaking fill, right?
well, that's just them. That's just studio execs
Like you
saying
said,
printing
we're
money.
gonna have an Obi-Wan Kenobi fight Darth Vader, win, and not kill him,
Fan service. But it worked. It
right?
worked. Fan service.
It's like,
Yeah,
it was and it was a good
shit out of
show.
Darth
It was a
Vader
good
too.
show.
He beat the shit out of Darth Vader too. Like he worked him. He worked him, and it
I
was
beat
like,
your little, I break your little asthma machine. You know what I mean?
and
Like, dude.
and today it's like, bye, Darth. I'm like, dude, like, it's whatever. Yeah, let's go. We can talk about like DC for a long time because there's so much that I would like them to do, but let's go ahead and get
Where's my Nightwing movie, DC? I'm fucking up. They were
yeah,
gonna. They had a Nightwing movie in the works. They did.
yeah. I mean, there's so many like they could focus on these big guys first, and then because like Batman, his well, his family or the Batman family is huge. I love to see an Azrael um, come up one time. I love to see Azrael. So you know who Azrael is? He's the Angel of Death. He was in the Batman um, Arkham
He was in
Knight.
the Nightfall series
Yeah,
of comics, Arkham Knight, the game.
Arkham Knight the game, right? Which is actually was based a little bit on Nightfall. Um, so yeah, no, there's just so much that they can do, and they're just fucking it up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. let's play the Black Adam trailer. So this is the most recent trailer that came out like maybe like last week or so. Um, and yeah, let's get going. Here it is.
My powers are not a gift, but a curse. Born out of rage. Black Adam.
You believe you are not worthy. But you have two paths. You can be the destroyer of this world. Or you can be its savior. The world needed a hero. Instead, it got me.
Well, there it
Yeah.
is.
Again, I'm
Um,
cautiously optimistic about this film, and
yeah,
it's for a couple of reasons. For one, you're bringing in a new group of heroes, the Justice Society, right?
yeah, bringing in a
Really
lot of
looking
people.
forward to seeing these guys in action. For those of you who, um, depends on how much of the stuff you watch, right? But like if you watch Young Justice, or if you've seen any of that TV series, first of all, it's a great TV series, especially the first two
Young Justice
seasons.
is pretty good. Yeah,
But now they have reintroduced Doctor Fate into the show, and he's in this movie. Doctor Fate is the DC equivalent to Doctor Strange.
yep,
Um, and I mean, this dude is a good character, man. So
yeah.
definitely
There have
hoping to
been
see some
so
good
many
things about him.
versions, so many versions of this character too.
Yeah,
Um, like one of those. So in this Young Justice movie, that series that you talked about, I really like that version of the character, the Nabu version. It brings a different element because there's Nabu, right, who's purely for like order. He's a Lord of Order,
he's an
right?
agent. Yeah,
Yeah, and he just puts the helmet on and he takes over someone else's body, but like that person is like done. Like they're under his command now, and that person can't do anything. So it's a very interesting element. Let's talk about this movie first. Interesting things. So it looks like they're in Kondak, right?
yes,
A lot of those fight scenes they're in Kondak, right? So Kondak is uh, the legendary city that's supposed to be like similar to Egypt, right?
yeah, yep.
Um, legendary like a fictional city, right? Where like Black Adam like rules with like an iron fist, right? So I'm curious if like we kind of see Kondak being a place, and isn't it you know this more than I do? Oh, it's a country. My bad. Um, so let me ask you: Is so? I guess Kondak is just a country. It's not like I thought it was like a different dimension.
No,
Like,
no,
okay, cool. So that makes sense though. So yeah, I kind of like the idea with if that's how it goes. But we saw Hawkman in it. We
definitely.
saw
I'm looking
Blade.
forward to seeing how they do Hawkman. He's a great
Yeah,
character as well. I mean, he could definitely have a movie on his own too, because
yeah,
he's the guy who, and it depends on how they do it or whatever. Like either
yeah,
he's an alien from Thanagar, or you can focus on the fact that he's supposed to be, reincarnated until he
yeah,
is able to be with his true love, Shayara Hall,
yeah.
Hawk Girl. So I mean,
Interesting storyline there. I would say to, um, it looks like if you saw the trailer, you saw like a black man in like a tube being filled up with like some sort of liquid. I think that's Hawkman. Um, I think.
a tube
Yeah,
being filled with liquid.
yeah. So, I think I can maybe. try to see that. Like
Replay that part, man. You must have.
yeah,
I saw the mace being charged with energy.
yeah. But actually, I can do it this way. I'm not gonna play the whole video again because that would be
Oh, we
just
don't want to do that.
like a waste of time. But there's no way I can play parts of a video with this platform, so I'll just have to do it a different way. And I'm not gonna make it like remember with Omar, like when he did the monsters movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it was like, yeah, there's so many things I gotta touch about this in this movie. Let me see. I want to see if I could get to the part where there it is, right here. All right, I'm just gonna share my screen. And sorry for all of our um, audio only guys. I'll explain what's going on. Damn it! What the hell? It moved. All right, this is the scene right here. Can you see?
I'm looking. I'm looking. Go back a little bit more. Go back
I'm
a
gonna
little bit
do
more.
full screen.
That's not Hawkman, man. That's Black Adam.
Is it Black Adam? Because I think.
Yeah, that's Black Adam. There was another trailer where they showed a slightly better image of that. I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
It's like they
so
recovered his body. Yeah.
okay, cool. All right, that makes sense then. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, man. I'm hoping that that turns out to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm hoping
like if
I'm
it,
hoping Warner Brothers doesn't puss out and they put Superman in this movie
oh,
now.
you think they'll put Superman in this movie, or they don't?
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think they will. They are a mess. But we talked about it a little bit. So we saw Doctor Fate, we saw Atom Smasher, we saw Hawkman. There's another character I forgot her name, and I have to like look it up again. But she like controls wind, right?
I mean,
Um,
there's Red Tornado. He controls wind.
yeah,
I don't
there's
know if it's
another
a female
person.
that controls wind like that. You got Our
Um,
Man. You have Jay Garrick. You have Stargirl. All these are people in Justice Society. You have Green Lantern. I know he's in there. He's in the movie. Green Lantern is in there. The Alan Scott Green Lantern.
really, really. Okay,
Um,
I didn't hear about that, but
yeah.
they did say that he's going to be fighting against a wizard in this movie. How
Okay.
much so? Don't know, but
Yeah.
he'll be fighting against the wizard, um, for sure. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to pull up the Black Adam movie just to see, um,
You're looking for
like
the
what I'm
cast.
missing. Yeah, just looking for the cast. I'm trying to see exactly. I think I'm missing one person as a as a thing. I'm just looking at
Oh,
the character
Quintessa
name.
Swindell is Cyclone.
There it is, Quintessa. There you go. Um, and yeah, granddaughter of the original Red Tornado. I didn't know the guy had kids. Red Tornado is a robot. Red Tornado is Vision.
Pretty,
From
yeah. No, you. I mean, you're laughing, but yeah, pretty much.
yeah, yeah, he pretty much is Vision, right? So yeah, pretty interesting. It looks like I kind of like the idea of these having like small characters. Oh, I didn't see this one. Oh, it looks like Viola Davis will reprise her role as Amanda Waller
In
in
this movie,
this movie, according
okay.
to Wikipedia.
Let me find
So
out. She's the Nick Fury for. They're making her like the Nick Fury for DC.
yeah, they really are trying to push these like anti-hero films, right?
It's a
You
differentiator.
it is a differentiator. Like anti-heroes don't have the same responsibility as heroes per se, right? So you saw that a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy, with Suicide Squad.
I
I'm
mean, I
sure you
think
see
that's
that.
literally the plot of this movie too. Part of it anyway, because they're basically
Yeah,
trying to tell him like, "Oh, you
yeah,
can be good or bad. Like, you don't have to be a killer.
yeah. It's
Heroes
like
don't kill."
the
You hear him
world.
saying that several times to
It's like,
Black
well, I ain't
Adam.
a hero. I ain't a hero.
Yeah, he ain't no
F
hero.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
along the lines of Deadpool, like whatever. It looks like Gang is going to be like the big bad guys. It looks like I don't know if there's. I'm sure there's going to be like one person behind Gang or whatever.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see exactly how this is going to work and everything. So yeah, excited.
yeah, man.
I think I said this before, right? It's gonna be like Dwayne Johnson. He's gonna play himself.
I mean, yeah,
Essentially,
this we're not talking
right?
about like Denzel Washington or somebody, right? I mean,
Yeah, he's gonna play
you know,
himself. It's
I hope there's
um,
some nuance to it or something that
I doubt it. I doubt it.
because like I said in
Watch
Jumanji, they asked him to basically do an imitation of what's his name, Danny
an
DeVito.
old man. Yeah,
It was
I
spot
gotta
on.
watch that
I mean, it
movie.
was scary good. Yeah,
I
it
gotta
was
watch
scary
that
good.
movie. I gotta watch that movie.
So
The new one. Uh, yeah, but comes out October 21st. Um, excited to see it. Hopefully it's not as bad as I think it might be. I
I don't
can't
think
help
it's gonna
myself.
be. I don't think it's gonna be Scorpion King, man. Calm down.
I better not be because I'd be really pissed if it was. Um, Now I'm looking at the stuff that this guy has done. I haven't watched a lot of these movies. Jungle Cruise, I heard was actually a pretty decent movie. Um,
It was okay. I was underwhelmed.
oh, okay. So you're not helping this guy out with a lot of his shit then. The
Hey,
commuter,
I'm here to keep it real.
commuter, Run All Night. A lot of Liam Neeson films. It looks like. Uh, this is the director. By the way, director is Chahum Colette Sierra. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So what's the other movie? Because we talked about Shazam already. Let's look at Aquaman 2 real quick too.
Okay, yes, talk about Aquaman 2. I haven't done a lot of research into that one. I just know Ben Affleck. You mentioned it earlier, but Ben Affleck's going to be there. They've reduced Amber Heard's role, who, by the way, has declared bankruptcy recently. Just kind of putting that out there. Um, so she doesn't look like she's going to be in a good spot for a while. Um, but yeah, Aquaman 2. What you got? What is it? Aquaman 2 Forbidden
So
Kingdom?
so this is
Lost Kingdom?
the interesting thing about DC Comics like Comic Con, right?
Hmm.
The only trailers that they really showed was Black Adam and Shazam, right?
Yeah,
Um, no real new information about Aquaman 2. I'm just looking
yeah,
forward to it because I think it's got the same director, but he's going to add, I think, a little bit more of, he comes from a horror background, right? So he's going to add,
yeah,
supposedly he's going to add a little bit more to that. I'm
yeah.
curious to
James
see,
Wan.
yeah, James Wan. I'm curious to
Yeah,
see um, what Ben Affleck's role is going to be, what capacity.
yeah.
I think he's going to be, more of a mentor character. I mean, you know what I mean? Um,
Oh, just looking at the notes for the Aquaman. So, uh, apparently he co-wrote the story with Jason Momoa.
so it's probably going to be some more environmental stuff because he's definitely big on that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm big with Jason Momoa on that. Yeah, no, but Jason Momoa actually has some writing credits, which is interesting.
That's
So
good, man. Good for that guy, man.
yeah, I like Jason Momoa. I really like him. He's
I'm a
great. He's
fan.
good people. Yeah,
I'm a
he's
fan.
good people. Yeah. Um, but yeah, we're gonna have to see which one's better, the Neymar or Aquaman. It's so funny
Ooh,
that Neymar came out before, like a couple years before Aquaman.
Neymar. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like maybe like two
yeah.
years before. It's funny how like both the comic book universes copy each other.
Because they move so
Weirdly enough.
slow. But here's the other thing that I think DC
Yeah.
has in their back pocket is the Sandman series on Netflix. I don't know if you're familiar
Yeah.
with this. It's based on a series of graphic novels from DC. It follows like Morpheus and some other characters of myth. But it's a critically acclaimed graphic novel series, and I've been waiting for this show. It just came out on Netflix, like I think this past week.
Yeah. It was
And
recent.
I think we should definitely go through, watch it, and give our thoughts on it because I think it's going to be really good, man.
Yeah.
I'm
I
really looking
actually
forward to
might
this
do
show.
that. I might do that. So I did hear. I had some. For most of the part, I saw good reviews of it. I saw some weird reviews saying that it wasn't that great, and I was like, "You're like the only one that thinks it's not that great of a movie." So I mean, good of a
Yeah,
show. So I'll check it out, and like we'll handle it here. Um, it looks like they haven't gotten rid of Amber Heard entirely, but they probably really um, dropped her down.
yeah.
Um, Willem Dafoe and is still in this movie. Um, we know him as the Green Goblin, and he kills that. He
He
straight
killed
kills
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, we're interested to see. We're hopeful. We're hopeful. Uh, that's all we can be with DC movies, man. Just be hopeful.
yeah. Because you don't really have much to go on anymore, right? Um,
Yeah.
because the other stuff that they have, let's look at what else they have going on, right? So we've
Yeah.
kind of talked about things from a movie's perspective. Oh, thank you, Jim. Let's talk about Batwoman season 4. There isn't one. Okay. There's no there's no Batwoman season 4, my friend. And that's one thing that I wanted to, I was just about to talk about the Arrowverse. I've been watching those shows for years, been a fan for years. And again, this is just one more misstep from DC Comics because they're, you had the Arrow, um, which was great for 8 seasons, but it wasn't I mean, it was like Batman Light, right? So it wasn't quite uh what everybody wanted, but it definitely had some good seasons in there. And then from there, you had the Flash, which has become like the flagship for the CW, which of course I'm not even sure what the future of that channel is going to be ever since the merger, which is probably one of the reasons why they're starting to slow down on the Arrowverse, right? The Flash, their last season is season 9, which is coming up this year, and it's only going to be like 13 episodes. So I'm very curious to see what they do with that, how they wrap that up. You have Superman and Lois, who's entering season 3. No clue on what the plot line for that's going to be. That's probably like the next best show, but again, for whatever reason, they've decided to make that show take place on a different Earth. Go figure. This is after they introduced like the Tyler Hoechlin. I'm probably messing up his last name. Tyler Hoechlin version of Superman in the Supergirl show. They just decided to just up and randomly make this guy like on a different Earth. I don't know, right?
Mm.
Supergirl is gone. Batwoman got canceled after season 3, which was a shame because I think season 3 was actually the best season of the show.
That's when they had a different
Um,
Batwoman, right?
The new Batwoman started on season 2 actually. But I
Oh.
think it came into its own in season 3, and then it got canceled. I guess they weren't seeing the numbers they wanted to see. I was recording that bad boy every week to peep it.
Really?
Yeah, man, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. Again,
Batwoman? I thought it was on HBO Max, right? Or no?
it's probably on HBO Max now because that's where most of
Oh,
the DC shows moved. You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Arrowverse is pretty much dead. Black Lightning is gone. That was probably my favorite show. Between that and the Flash, that was probably the two best shows. And
Yeah.
then it was Naomi is canceled. That's the young black girl that was had her own show. I think that got canceled after like one season.
Mm.
What I've been waiting for, and what I'm surprised that they haven't shown yet, is where's Static Shock?
Oh, they're gonna cancel that one. Well, actually, we don't know. We
They
don't know.
never started it.
We don't know. We don't know. Yeah. Like we talked about Blue Beetle, right? Um, that that's kind of up in the air now, and Batgirl obviously got canceled. So now we got like Static Shock, which that sucks. But
Again,
what are you gonna
yeah.
do?
And again, like it's like every time you have the opportunity to show like a character or some IP that's like, minority driven or slated
Yeah,
for a different audience, man. I mean, you find a way to cut it short or cut it off or
yeah.
cancel it.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I will say like that they're doing this. I will say this though. Um, it looks like so the way they brought Black Panther into the Marvel universe was genius in so many ways. It was amazing. Like they were able to bring him into the Batman Civil War. It was still a Captain America movie.
The Batman Civil War. I heard that. I heard that.
Thanks for catching that. The Captain America Civil War, right? Um, so he managed to get inside he was they brought him through the Civil War. It was just kind of so well done, right? And it was still a Captain America movie. Um, and it's unfortunate. I wonder if they will give the others a chance like that, right? Like maybe we should have seen Batgirl in another movie, like in some Batman movie before we give her her own movie or whatnot, right? Um,
I agree. I mean,
but
honestly, I feel like this is where they mess up, man.
oh yeah,
Because you had
DC
like
man, Warner Brothers,
we had that jaded version of Batman and Batman v Superman. She could have been right there
yeah,
in the Batcave at some point in the movie. You don't have to do some
yeah,
long introduction for these characters. Just
yeah,
have her there so people know
yeah,
she's there. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um, Yeah, no, absolutely. Back to Batman v Superman. Yeah, how disappointed was it that like that whole Robin scene with like like the painting on like his on his suit, right? Which I'm sure Joker did. Well, Joker did do in the
of course,
Snyderverse,
him or
but
Harley Quinn.
um,
I think it was
yeah,
Harley Quinn that got the credit for killing him in that universe too, in the Snyder
yeah,
universe.
which is crazy because it doesn't make Harley Quinn nearly as likable as she is now in where we're seeing her. Like, oof, yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway, I do want to mention one more thing too about HBO Max itself. So apparently, HBO Max is leaving next year, right?
not
Yes,
leaving is being merged
it's being merged
with the
to
Discovery streaming
yeah,
platform.
yeah,
Evidently,
absolutely.
this is
Go
I
ahead.
know I
Yeah,
should be citing my sources or whatever, right? But evidently, Discovery had actually a better tech stack for their app than HBO did.
yeah.
So they want to
So
move HBO over there.
I'm happy you said that. So, because I actually just read the article before we started. So the CEO of the now Warner Brothers Discovery, um, was like, "Yeah, there's a better tech stack there, so we're gonna move everything there." The big problem was that, and I haven't experienced this too. But then again, I don't watch the most popular shows there. But apparently, with Euphoria or any other show that they have, uh, they tend to have streaming problems, right?
Yeah.
Lagging or whatnot. So I haven't experienced it. I haven't watched Euphoria. I'll watch it eventually one day. Um, but yeah, that's that's it's not going to be a thing anymore, or they're going to kind of rebrand it. Um, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. I love nature
Yeah.
stuff, so I definitely don't mind
You think about
being
that now.
further channel.
We went from DC Universe
Oh yeah,
to HBO Max. Now we're merging everything. So I mean,
yeah.
nothing has had a
It's
long life.
it just shows that they just don't know what the f they're doing. Like really, there's no real plan. and plans change, things change, but like the way they keep going back and forth, and what we're hearing is
Yeah.
just it's just not good. It's just not good. Um, and they just need to pick a lane. Honestly, I think
Yeah, pretty much,
um,
man.
just pick a lane and just go with it. Right. I don't mind there being a more darker, more serious universe. Um, you may not get the adulation as what you're seeing with Marvel, but it's still going to be so you'll still be profitable, still be good stuff, right? The reviews that I'm seeing, they're really concerned with that like DC has like a bad image because it just hasn't come out with a bunch of good movies.
It has no
Um,
image. They don't have any
no, it's not.
product.
It's not a great image. It's not a great image,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's why they can like Batgirl, but it's just not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, yeah. What are you gonna do? Um,
I don't know. I mean, because you could have had, and again, this is why their animated movies are doing like so good.
yeah.
There was a movie with basically it was like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl crash lands in Gotham City. Batman finds her, takes her to Superman. Superman has to train, well, not train her, but teach her about living life on Earth.
Hmm.
Darkseid comes in to kidnap her, turn her against Superman. They fight. Superman saves her. They
Hmm.
leave Apocalypse. Then Darkseid comes after Superman and him to teach him a lesson. All this happens in like a 70-minute animated movie. You very easily have done something like that. I feel like the animated movie is almost taking all the good ideas away from the live action guys. So it's just like
Why don't you just
y'all could
use
have done this, bro. Y'all could have
just
done
use
that, man.
the yeah
You want to introduce Supergirl? That would have been like the perfect story to do that.
yeah no absolutely yeah. Well, look, we'll just see what happens, man. Like we'll just be hopeful. The one day,
Fingers are
yeah,
crossed, man.
yeah. I feel like this is probably what it's like to like root for like the losing team. Like if you're
This is
like
this
a
is what it's like to if you're like a Detroit Lions fan, pretty much, man. You have all
shout
the
out
hope
to
in
my
the
buddy,
world, but
bro.
those guys aren't doing shit. Sorry, BK and Dan. Yes, that was directed at y'all, but they're not
Oh,
doing shit.
oh, stop it! Oh, stop it! The Detroit Lions fans. Oh my god, that's so funny. That is so funny. All right. Well, on that note,
Am I wrong?
right? I was gonna say they're like the Mets, but the Mets are actually doing good this year. They have a good shot at winning. I said the Mets, not the Nets. Mets baseball. Uh, the Mets. That's another mess. That's
Yeah,
another
man.
mess. That we're talking about. But you know what? Thank you guys for joining, participating, uh, listening to us air out our grievances
Yeah, man.
on DC and just how I just can't get together. Hopefully it'll get there one day, or they'll be as bad as Sony's Marvel, which is just so bad.
Yeah. And
Um,
salute to Jim too, man. Appreciate all the new viewers that are coming out to support us. Please like
yeah,
and subscribe, follow. We're on all the
yeah,
platforms and whatnot, man. So appreciate
yeah.
y'all.
We're on like YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're gonna be on Twitch. We're gonna be on
We're on
back
Twitter.
on Instagram. Yeah, we're on Twitter. Actually, I need to focus on like live streaming on Twitter too. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's what I meant to mention too. It is actually our 1 year anniversary on Twitter. I put out a tweet about that.
Oh, nice. Damn, I didn't know you created a Twitter a year ago.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Okay, well no. Happy anniversary to us, man. Look at us. 70 episodes in. 70 episodes in. We still doing this for some reason. No. Okay, I'm kidding.
No, because we love
No.
it.
Yeah, it's good. No. Cool. Well, time to let you guys go. Peace out. See you guys later. Thank you guys for